did Matt Eberflus' lack of aggressiveness just cost the Chicago Bears this football game against the Green Bay Packers? Ooh, this is a tough one. Let's talk about it. Listen, if you're new to the channel, it's your boy P Kid. This is the Windy City Breeze. Do me a favor. Hit that bell. Hit the like button. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all, let's pass that. Y'all know what to do. Let's get into it because this is now, it's unbelievable how we find ourselves in these situations. And while I am jaded to the point where I've gotten beaten so many times by the Green Bay Packers that I really don't care as much, this one hurts more because we dominated on almost every statistical thing. Let me read this off to you. Typically, when we face Green Bay and how we faced them in the last couple of years, we've gotten killed on multiple fronts. But this time, not only did we lead in first downs, listen, we led in first down. Passes for first, got it. Rushes for first, got it. Penalties for first, I mean, listen, we go worry about our third down efficiency. We were 9 of 16 on third down efficiency. We were perfect on fourth down efficiency. We led in total yards. Our average game plan, listen, they ran the ball down our throats. I mean, listen, cracked us over the head a couple of times. We couldn't do nothing about that. We knew that was going to be an issue coming to this game. I predicted that Josh Jacobs was going to sit there and go off, and boy, did he have a game. But realistically, even with him going off and doing that and them having over 100 yards net rushing, guess what? We still won that battle in net rushing yards by a handsome 179 to 106. We beat them. We beat them in the one area that we thought that we would actually suffer the most. Just yards per pass, okay, they got us on that. But total completion rates, like Caleb had a good game. We eliminated a lot of the sacks. He didn't take a whole bunch of sacks. There's 3 sacks. 2 of them happened in the last drive, which he still came back, put the cape on and things of that nature. We really ran a solid game. The kid looked good. Our rookies looked good. Everything clicked into the last play. And that's where we find ourselves in this conundrum because there's the crowd that thinks you could have ran more plays. They got a closer field goal if that's ultimately what you were going to opt for. And then there's also the crowd that sits there and says, hey, we've seen this plenty of times before. This is what NFL coaches and teams do. And we really shouldn't be surprised, nor should we fault him because he did the right thing. I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted for 2 reasons. One, I'm conflicted because we did have a little more time and we could have made more moves. In a situation where you had their defense on their heels, cracked them over here with a big gain, I think for 16 yards to roam, cracked them over here another one with 21 yards, and then you hit them over the head again with Keenan Allen on like a 12-13 router. Like realistically, we started to really have them backpedaling and started to cook. And then we kind of just had this moment where it's like, all right, this is good enough. Let's not do too much. And I am of the ilk to say, if this is the Chiefs and this play is called, no one bats an eye. If this is the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson is cooking, they're moving down the field and they get to this point, you run that time down, no one bats an eye. But because it's Matt Eberflus and the Bears, it's like, you should have secured this. You should have did more to ensure that nothing could have happened. But even then, if you call a play, we fumble it, you call a play, he throws a pick. Now you're sitting there having you're in a conundrum where, well, why didn't you take the field goal to just run a touchdown? Like this for a head coach. This is a lose-lose situation when you're Matt Eberflus. There's no right answer to this. It's not the wrong play. Professional teams do this all the time. Tom Brady has won Super Bowls off of that type of gameplay. You can't sit there and say that Eberflus lost this game. But on the flip side, you can definitely make the argument that he didn't do enough to secure the win. And as much as that seems like a flip-floppy answer, just listen to some of the professionals talk about it. Just on the way here, Yurko was sitting there talking about, hey, you had enough time. And even he said and acknowledged, yeah, you run the risk of this happening. He could see people arguing that, oh, you put the ball on the ground and then all of a sudden, everyone's worrying about why you didn't kick it. Like even professionals in the same situation was like, that's a tough call, but it's not the wrong call. So why are the fans, as fans, Are we like, no, definitely Eberflus did this? And I think it ultimately comes down to one thing and one thing only. He has a history of losing. You have built a culture of losing. You've built a culture of losing in some of the most spectacular fashions that not only is that what we expect of you, we can almost guarantee it. If you watch the live call, if you watch the watch party today, everyone in that room did not like that moment. It was the right call. We knew it to be the right call. We knew this was exactly what you needed to do. And we still felt like something's going to go wrong. And it did. This is a culture thing. When you lack such faith in you lack such faith that you just know even something that should be sure and guaranteed, it's bound to fail. And that's what's been built here. And to be fair, again, I can't sit here and say that it's all Matt Eberflus's fault. But I can say he has not done enough to help himself in this situation. And what I find so ironic is everyone who knew or had felt like he should have been fired last week now have a tough situation because it's not as if the kid didn't look good. It's not as if the offense didn't look good. The protection was sound. This defense that we went up against was not bad. In fact, I think this was a better defense than some of the defenses that we played in the last couple of weeks, definitely statistically. So all of these things are there. And again, we find a way to lose despite being up, despite being in this game. We had it. We had it. And it hurts. And that's an Eberflus season for you. There is nothing with all I have. There's not a fiber in my body that felt like we were going to absolutely win that game. I wanted us to win. I wanted it to be I wanted the confidence. I wanted my rookie QB to have the confidence. I want it to be a solid bounce back game. And for all intents and purposes, for Caleb Williams, great game. For Roma Doomsday, great game. From DJ Moore, great game. Keenan Allen, great game. We saw good offensive play, and I am going to shout out the O-line. Despite the breakdown in the last one, they held up most of the game. Great game. Operation was sound. This is something to say about Thomas Brown. That's going to be in a separate video. But the reality of it is, no matter what, it's still gonna come down to somebody. And it's only two people you can look at. You can look at the personnel, which is not an Eberflus problem, a Poles issue, and the personnel does need assistance. The play and the personnel does have to show up and protect. But I think Matt Pryor is the one that we tend to see the block was on his side, and maybe it was his assignment. He played solid though. But I think the ultimate thing is we all felt like it was going to go wrong. We all felt like this wasn't going to end well. And that's something that I'm not saying a change of head coach would solve, but you have to stop. You have to cut the cancer. When you've developed and nurtured, and I'm going to use the word nurtured, a culture of losing, that's what we expect as a fan base. We expect in some way, shape, or form, no matter how good we look, that we're going to lose. And if that's how you think, and if that's how the city thinks, and if that's how the team kind of performs, that's what's going to happen. And that's an infectious thing that you just cannot continue to allow. So do I think it's his fault? No. But I don't think that he ensured a win. And because of that, and because this is just like the same old, I think this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. No matter what else happens, I think this is the straw that breaks the camel's back because we've seen this so many times that it's hard to ignore. It's hard to get away from. And after a while, it's just like, dog, even you got a new OC here and everything like that, and you still feel like not new. You all get what I mean. It's just something that's we have to cut bait. We have to cut the cancer. We have to start developing a winning culture. And it's just time. It's just time. And it's sad because This could have been so much worse. This game could have been so much worse. But when you look at Eberflus's record, his overall record, his record against Green Bay and everything like that, it is so hard to defend as to why he's still here. That you kind of come up, you kind of don't have any excuses for it. It's just because we don't fire coaches midseason. And it's so bad that right now, even if it's not his fault, it is his fault because it's Eberflus and you expect it to lose. And that's what happens when you don't do enough early on and you start developing a bad reputation. It's going to follow you no matter what, whether it's fair or not. It's going to follow you. And guess what? It's following Flus. Those are my thoughts, man. I want to hear yours, man. Let me know whether you feel like it was on him or not. I think ultimately it was not the bad call, but I think you could have done more to secure it. I think you could have gotten a little closer. It's just bad, though. It's just bad, and it hurts. It hurts me. I'm getting too emotional about it. Listen, whether it's level, let's say put in the chat, I'll be in there with you. Till next time. Peace.